Hello, welcome to the Comedy Food Truck Podcast. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Comedy Food Truck and watch us on YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now here's the big show.
That was creepy.
My howdy.
Nice.
You're listening to the Comedy Food Truck Podcast. We talk life, food, relationships, and have fun with all of it. And now here's your host, comedian John Hill.
Wake up, John. That's when I figured out I was in the wrong place. Hey, everybody.
Bartender said you can't bring that monkey in here.
That's right. What's crack-a-lagging? I have a great joke. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I have a great joke about, and it doesn't matter. I just repeated myself.
Can we just start over? Can we just roll the intro again? Just hit it again.
Crazy. It was like a self-rewind. That was weird. No, welcome to the show, everybody. We're excited you're here. It is drop day.
Drop day.
If it's Tuesday, if you're listening on Tuesday, the episode drops on Tuesdays, and that's right.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think my episode just dropped.
What's funny in live is to watch Scott make these sound effects, and it's not lined up with the audio. So yeah, he looks silent, and then all of a sudden you hear this burp, and it's just really odd that it's not lined up. Plus, it's just Scott.
What is he doing?
I don't know what he's doing. We got to get him out of the space station. He's got to come in the studio live.
Man.
I know.
It's
crazy.
Back on the planet.
If you have a great job for somebody that doesn't have to travel a lot, Scott is your man.
Yeah.
Because we got to get him out of this, whatever this is he does every day.
We need Scott back in studio.
Yeah, because it's just ridiculous that they send him everywhere. He's always on location.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Yeah. But I'm excited that you guys are here. And I'm excited that the team is here. First, Jared, who's to my left.
Yes.
What is happening, sir?
Not much, man.
I just see a lot of blinking lights on your Mac. It's crazy.
It's the meters.
Oh, okay. What computer are we using, or how are we bringing Scott? Oh, the TV.
Yeah.
We're using the TV.
Scott's in the, he's on a different Mac coming through on Google Meet.
You have more than one Mac?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Mac.
Cool. This is my Mac. That's Diana's Mac.
Ah, okay.
And that's Mac the knife.
Yeah, I had a big
Return
Mac.
of the Mac.
Yeah.
And that's mac and cheese. And that's McDonald's.
I had a Big Mac for lunch.
Did you?
No. I miss them.
Jen had a
Me
Big
too.
Mac. We had McDonald's the other night.
I miss my Big Macs.
How do you get your Big Mac?
I don't do Big Macs.
No?
No, I
I
do
love a good Big Mac.
double quarter pounder with cheese.
Okay.
Oof.
I like quarter pound with cheese too.
Or double Royale with cheese.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, the Big Mac, that extra bun in the middle is just, it's just like too much bread.
Well, I saw a TikTok where a guy, what did he do? I'm trying to think how he did it. Yeah, he took the top bun off, and then he took the middle bun that was now underneath the patty, and he flipped it. So then he got rid of the top bun, and then he had basically a double burger.
Yeah, okay, it's like a, yeah.
Yeah, but you still have the Big Mac, like the sauce and all that stuff.
Right,
so he
right.
flips it and does that.
Yep.
But health-wise, I'm told that if you're going to McDonald's, the healthiest choice you can make is the quarter pounder with cheese. Maybe not the double, but the quarter pounder with cheese.
Yeah.
It has a lesser effect for a couple reasons. It has to do with the combination of the things that are on there and the amounts. So it has a lesser effect on your not your sugar, but your other one.
The glycemic levels?
No, well, the glycemic levels, but it's your
the
insulin resistance.
Yeah.
Your insulin resistance. It has less impact on that than a Big Mac or other things. I don't know.
Yeah, Jen gets a single quarter pounder a lot of times.
I think a protein
She
style.
did a Big Mac last night, though.
I think a protein style In-N-Out burger is even better.
Yes. Yep. Amen.
With that in mind, Scott, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
You're on the show.
I am. I'm here.
It's good to have you, man. You have the best hair of all my friends.
You have the most hair of all my friends.
You have the most hair of all four of us.
Yeah, put
Well,
together.
now all three of us are here.
You have better hair than many women I've known in my life.
Wow.
That is some seriously good hair. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
It just has the right color of salt and pepper or whatever else, kind of like that.
Yeah.
Sort of sexy silver look going, and and you got those brows, and there's two of them, not one. That's important.
You have a glabella.
Your mustache is just the right amount of stash without going porn. You know what I mean? It looks good. It looks good. Like, it doesn't look cheesy, you know what I mean? It doesn't look fake. It doesn't look like you're trying to be something you're not.
John said you've got a good look.
You do. You got a great look, man.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
Oh, that's great.
The goatee is very balanced. It's not really a goatee. It's a
They call it a Nelson, don't they?
I don't know what they call it.
I think that's called a Nelson.
Is that what it is?
The one that goes around your mouth.
So
and
is
your
a
chin.
full Nelson a goatee?
I think it's a half Nelson.
Oh, half Nelson.
It's
I
a
don't
Nelson.
know.
Willie Nelson.
A Willie
the
Nelson.
band Nelson.
That would be, yeah. That's funny. Well, actually, if we were gonna decide and rank them, they'd be the Nelson ratings.
Ooh,
Oh, that's
Nielsen.
terrible.
Nielsen ratings.
Well, I know that's sort of the point, right? But a beard, it would be the Nelson ratings.
Like Willie Nielsen.
Willie Nielsen. That's funny. And Ray is with us as well.
Hi,
With
John.
us as always is Ray.
Yes. If you didn't listen to last week's episode, you got to go listen to it. Ray had some great questions for us on our favorite stuff. And in the chats this week, we'll check it and tell you next week.
Yep.
Sure we will.
That's what we do.
No, but
Who's smacking their lips? What was that?
I'm not telling.
the guy who hates it the most.
Chewing in my ear
The
earlier.
guy
you
who
jerk.
hates it the most. The guy who hates it the most.
I was eating potato chips on Mike earlier.
Well, today's show, we have Scott's up, right?
It's Scott,
Scott's
yeah.
helping lead a conversation. This is not quite topics, but it sort of is. But it's more like a Scott-versation.
Scottish topics.
Scott talking.
Scott talking. That's funny. That's good. So, Scott, why don't you go ahead and lean into that big, huge microphone?
Get all up in its grill.
Tell us what you're thinking about.
Huge.
That's funny. That's funny. What you got for us today, man?
No, I just thought it'd be interesting to see, like over the course of our lives. I know I've had some, but I thought everybody might have had maybe some missed opportunities at things that something came up and they didn't do it for whatever reason. Maybe they were, they got talked out of it or, bad information. It's like, oh man, I wish I would have done that, or what would have happened if I would have done that, something like that. So that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Missed opportunities.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's great. Just one? Like our most missed or what?
Whatever you got.
No, you could do a couple of them. I mean, I've had a couple of them. So, whatever, maybe you have one or maybe you don't have any, but I thought, somebody's got to have something that they've done that came up that they didn't do for one reason or another. And I mean, like,
something significant. That would have been significant.
right. Or even that,
Not like
you
I
just
drove
wish
by
you would have tried it. And I'm not looking at,
Sure.
going to Vegas and doing all that kind of stuff. I mean, just an opportunity of something like, wow, it sounded like fun.
Well, yeah.
And, whatever, you're young and you should have tried it or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
You're hoping it would work out. You want to lead us off since your topic?
yeah. So, I know when I was younger,
Does this involve
I
a
had-
robe and being in the desert?
Shooting.
no, it doesn't have to do anything with a robe.
I think Scott
Okay.
Scott
There's
pretty much
nothing to do with
seized
no
that
milk bottles
opportunity.
clinking around or
Yeah.
anything like that.
Seized that one.
Was this you on the football team and the coach waved you in and you were sleeping?
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Okay.
that was my favorite position was the end guard and tackle,
What is that?
right?
What's that position?
I guarded the end of the bench and I tackled everybody that got near it.
Plus, you had first dibs on the water. All the
That's right.
Gatorade. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so what's you said when you were younger?
No, when I had an opportunity at one time to go treasure hunting with a group of scuba divers that
Wow.
Dang.
Where at?
I didn't know where we were going to end up. It was, far away.
Newport
Wait, you
Beach.
didn't know where they were going?
Well,
Just
I don't
gonna get on
remember
a
where it was
plane?
at now. I knew at the time, but
Oh,
it
okay,
was,
okay. No, I thought maybe, like, come on, let's go treasure hunting. Where are we going?
No.
Oh, we'll tell
It
you
was
later.
like
Pull
Just
a
jump
bag
into
over
the-
your head.
Just jump into this white van.
it
Got a
was
rope?
someplace out in Palm Springs, and, by
One
the
of
big
Salt
windmills.
Lake.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my god.
That's
The
funny.
Salton Sea.
Right. We're going to go scuba diving in Palm Springs.
Oh gosh. Oh, that's so nasty.
But yeah, so it was someplace in the South Pacific or something like that had
Oh,
to do
wow.
with sunken treasure, and they knew where these boats were and so forth. And
Really?
I was probably, I don't know, mid-20s or so.
Wow. So this would
Mid-20s.
involve you working, like, so to speak, on the boat as they
Yeah.
went out to deep sea, and then they were going to dive, hoping to find capsized or sunken ships or
Treasure.
vessels that possibly had treasure on it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
So I didn't do it.
Why not?
I was talking to my dad, I think, at the time, and just some other people, and it's like, hey, you don't know what's going to happen. You go over there and turn up missing, and put all this stuff in your mind, and so I was like,
that's cool though, man. It's a good thought. In your case, when you say you were talking to your dad at the time,
yeah.
did it mean that it was at that time you were talking to your dad?
Not the milkman.
Well, that's what I was wondering. It was at the specific time you were speaking to your dad, or it was the guy who was your dad at that time?
My biological dad, which I was talking to at the time.
I got you. Yeah. I'm just having fun with language. No, but okay, cool. But so it's not so bad that your dad may have, if you want to say, talked you out of it. Maybe he gave you some wisdom.
Yeah,
he might have given you some wisdom.
And I don't think it was so much of him talking. I'm not blaming him. It wasn't that. It was just things of. Sometimes you do things, you just go off and do it, and you don't really think about it. And I think I was more, trying to listen to reason instead of just saying, I'm going to do it, and then something happens. And
were you married yet?
No.
Okay. So that was more to the narrative, at least, that it would have been, you should sort of had the freedom to make that choice. Not like you were
just
right
up and go.
There was nobody to worry about. Yeah, that's cool.
Right.
Wow.
It's like how many times you ever get, to go on a treasure expedition type thing.
Once a week.
Yeah. Well, at least not out to the Pacific Ocean. But did you ever hear an update? Did you ever see if they found anything? Or okay.
I never.
How'd you come across this?
They all died.
Okay.
Who did you know, or how did you get this offer?
I belonged to a scuba diving club at the time because I had gotten certified for scuba diving.
Got it.
And just kept in contact, and we used to go out on boats and stuff like that. Once a month or so, we'd get.
Makes sense when you're in a scuba diving club.
Clubs.
Yeah, it makes sense to go out on a boat once in a while if you're a scuba diving club.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. So that's how it was. It was through some people that was involved with. So
that is super cool though. That who knows what would have happened, but was this before or after? Because I know another thing you do that a lot of people would probably have loved an opportunity to do is stuntman. You did some stunt work. Was this before or after you started that?
It was after.
So you'd already been doing stunt work, and then you get this offer to possibly.
It was kind of an overlapping thing. The reason why I even got certified for scuba diving because my dad was up for a television show, and I was going to do all of his stunt work for him.
Oh, wow.
And it was based on a guy that actually lived in Catalina at the time. I don't know what his name is, but the telephone number apparently was Catalina 1, and he was
Magnum,
the person that they called whenever there was a accident and stuff like that.
I see.
That was his number, I guess, Catalina. So they were going to call this television show Catalina 1.
And then they moved it to Hawaii, and they called it Magnum PI.
Hawaii 5-0.
The character name was Thomas Magnum. Your dad was almost Thomas Magnum.
Wow. You were almost Thomas Magnum stunt double.
You could have been Higgins.
Right.
I think it's super awesome, though, that your dad was even up for a show and that there was all that going on. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that was the reason why I got certified. I went through like a quick thing because it was supposed to, they were going to have meetings and so forth, and because I didn't know how to scuba dive.
It's awesome.
And he was going to be playing the part of this guy who was the guy that lived on Catalina. So
yeah, that's really cool. What is your dad in? What is it? IMDb or something like that?
No, this was way before that even was around.
Well, yeah, but they got black and white actors and stuff and. Sorry, let me back up. They have actors who their stuff was in black and white. I haven't really looked.
I mean, he could have something on there for all I know, but I don't think.
Is his last name Herring like yours?
Set up an account, but I don't think he's ever done that.
Oh, is his last name Herring like yours?
No. Well, yeah, it is now.
Okay.
But at the time, back in those days, he changed his name.
A studio name.
His agent had told him you can't have the last name Herring because it's going to be hard to sell a fish, is what they told him. So,
so what he changed?
I don't even want to tell you what his.
No, what is his stage name?
His stage name at that time was Lloyd Reddick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
Okay.
Still,
so that was the reason. That was the reason why. So
he still slid in a little bit of the herring thing because you got red herring. Just like the Reddick.
There you go.
I'll show you. I like my last name. That's cool, man. That's a great story. Love that.
Wow.
So I had that, and then the other thing that I had the opportunity. Well, I guess it was kind of my fault. I kind of regret not signing up or going into the armed forces at one time, because I really would have liked to go into the Air Force.
Okay.
Because I like to fly, and that's what I wanted to be, was a pilot. Sure. And so that was a place to go. But, again, didn't do it for many reasons, talking to people. And it's like, oh, my experience back in those times wasn't all that great with the military from what I was told. And so I was like, oh, boy, I don't want that to happen. And so I passed that up. But that was, that was my fault. And the other one was I had the opportunity to go to, at that time I think it was Japan.
Yeah.
To do the Universal Studios Batman show that they had, and they were going to be going over to Japan to do that, or Singapore, or something like that.
Were you going to be like a stunt guy in there, or a stunt actor, or whatever?
In the Batman stunt show.
Nice.
Dang.
Wow.
But I didn't do that either.
Bataman.
Yeah.
So Bataman.
You know who that is? That's a Bataman.
Who are you? I am a Bataman.
We're in so much trouble.
I'm gonna make you a turn around. Where is the penguin? Pow.
Oh, you go now, fat man. We know some of your kind here.
Penguin, you go. You go now.
Wow.
That's not really Japanese, but anyway. I like I'm a Bataman. Godzilla. Shine the light, get Butterman. Here he comes.
Wow. Butterman.
Butterman. You gotta add that little concept. Butterman. I am a Butterman.
What did the guy?
I'll meet you on Mount Fuji.
Oh, I was getting
Daniel-san.
I was at the convenience store one time, and the guy was trying to say Monster. Because I would get the Monster protein shakes, and he goes, "Today you get the Monster."
The Monster.
What? Monster. You know the drink, the Monster.
The Monster.
The Monster. Dude, it took me like five tries.
No, White Devil. I mean Monster. You say it wrong.
Monster.
I still laugh at that story you told about the donut shop when you and Mike went.
Oh my gosh.
That was an
Mike
opportunity
and Pat.
lost.
That was me, Mike, and Pat. Yeah. Pat, because Pat ordered it. Pat
For the audience,
Pat
Mike
cool
and Pat are friends of Ray's youth.
Yes, still friends.
You got to tell this story. You got to.
Well, we're doing regrets. We're doing Scott's got the topic.
Okay. Into the show. Tell the story
I'll
at the
tell
end of the show.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't want to interrupt the topic.
All right.
Okay.
You got regrets? Other than coming here tonight, do you have any regrets?
Maybe the donut story has a regret.
I'm really trying to think.
A missed opportunity.
You know what? The more I think about my life, the less opportunity I think I had.
Wow.
So you know what I mean? It's kind of like, did you miss any opportunities? I don't think I had a lot of opportunities.
or I wasn't paying much attention.
Right? Yeah. I was too naive and too dumb. I think it's more just the naivety. It's the old saying, if I knew then what I know now. Right. I mean, that is so true. Because you look back on your life and it's like, oh my gosh, I was so stupid. Yeah. I was so naive.
Yep.
But I don't know. I tried.
Like things you wish you had done that you didn't do?
Grilling my brain. About
you didn't.
Yeah.
Well, he's
You
thinking
really didn't have any opportunities, did he?
I didn't. Or I seized them all. I didn't miss any.
I just seized.
I don't know if it's like a biggest regret, but not even a regret. I'm going to say missed opportunity. I wouldn't call it a regret for me, but I was walking through the door in Hollywood of the office of I don't know if they were an agent or producer or what they were, but they were looking for help, basically to hire somebody to learn the job, so to speak, and to I guess what's that word, apprentice with them, and
intern apprentice.
And I remember walking through because I was interested in being in front of the camera, but I was really interested in being behind. And I remember walking through the door, and there was a bunch of people sitting around flipping through a script, obviously like a read. And the lady kind of looked up at me, and I looked at her, and then I didn't think I was in the right room. But I didn't bother to ask. And so I kind of closed the door. And then as I went back out, I was like kind of confused. I was like, I don't think I'm in the right, whatever. And I just left. And I think that's one of those opportunities. I would, again, wouldn't be a regret, but it would have been interesting to see where it would have went. I had just moved out to the area. I was like I think I was making about $400 a month. I was playing basketball couple times at the gym, there was a guy that knew the person that they were referring me to. And from my understanding, the person was waiting for me. So basically, I just ghosted. But I mean, I'm from their end.
Yeah.
But I walked through. I don't know if it was the right place, and they were inside the room and they were running the reading or not. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
But because
What
I
if,
just
what if,
wasn't.
what if?
Yeah, but it wasn't, like I said, it's not a regret. It's just, that's definitely a missed opportunity. The only other one that's, for me, maybe it's a regret, but I'm so old now, it doesn't matter anymore. But I got in trouble the night before 8th grade tryouts for basketball. And my mom, I was a latchkey kid, so my mom wasn't really home. But when I went home, I can't remember why I got in trouble. Oh, I know what it was. Sorry. The night before, I was practicing for the tryout, and I stayed out too late. So when I got home, she said, "You need to come straight home from school tomorrow. That's your punishment." And I said, "Well, but Mom, was out because I was going to try out, blah, blah, blah." And she's like, "Well, it doesn't matter. You were in trouble. And there's 2 days of trials." She knew this. There's 2 days of trials. You can go the second day. I'm like, "But I think you have to go to both days." So the system by which to make the team from this new coach was that he would give you stars over the first 2 days of tryouts. And they ran drills and different things on different days. And he took the top X amount of guys, whatever it was. And so whatever stars the top, you know what I mean? So the way he adjusted it was he was going to take the top, say 10 guys with the most stars. And I know that the 10th spot, there were 5 stars. Some guys had more than that, but 5 stars was the 10th spot, I think. Is that right? And I got 4 stars on one day. And he even said, he goes, "I know you're better than most of these guys because you got 4 stars in one day, but I can't go against my system. You should have been here the first day."
Jeez.
I would have got a star just for being there the first day. I might have been at the top of the list because I don't know. I can't remember how many stars the top guys had. But I don't think they had 8 or 9. I think they might have had 6 or 7, and then the lowest guy had like 5.
Yeah.
And so I didn't make my 8th grade team, or it might have been 9th, 8th or 9th. And our middle school was 3 years. So where I blew it for me was the high school coaches would start to scout the 8th and 9th grade teams.
While you're playing.
And then they would, now I still made my 10th grade team. So this must have been 9th grade. I still made my 10th grade team, but I wasn't in with the coaches. And I'm not this guy that blames the coaches. Don't get me wrong. I made the 10th grade team. I could have stayed. But I do know that by 11th and 12th grade, there's a little bit of politics involved, but I'm not that guy that's complaining. I mean, if I was better, I would have made the team anyway. If you're good enough, they're going to put you on the team.
Right.
But I wasn't going to get a pass, I guess. I had to work. And so it did affect a little bit playing in 11th and 12th grade. But I went to volleyball, and it was fine, and then played a little bit in college, and so it was all good. But I think I would have had more confidence and done better had I played more in middle school.
Yeah.
So, because it's just easier, right? And so as you get harder, I'm going into elite levels, and I don't have any experience.
Right.
I never played really organized ball. I just played park leagues and pickup and all that. But I can hang with everybody. But, just one of those things. So the only regret I have is that it kind of might have led to me getting a scholarship possibly at like a Christian college or something. I don't think any of the big schools, certainly not a scholarship, but I would have had enough confidence probably to do that.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. Still went to college, still did everything fine. But that's probably more on a practical level. But the acting one is the more curiosity one. That's the one I would love to have done. Yeah.
Okay. Ray's camera just died.
No, it's full because I forgot to delete
Oh, jeez.
the old footage before we started.
That's okay.
I think you did this last time we recorded.
No.
Had some
yeah.
or old footage on there.
Yeah.
Right. I'll fix that later. So bye,
Okay.
everybody. I'm leaving. Thanks for coming.
You remember that?
Jared's going to put on the screen.
No use talking now.
You remember last show, your favorite healthy snack? I'm going to recommend that. Crisp apple. iPhone. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
I'm just joking. Are we still recording?
Yeah,
Or
we're
are you
still
gonna
good.
reset?
We're still
I
good.
just have no
He just
video.
didn't have video. That's okay.
He's going to go to
How
that
about you,
slide that
Jared?
says footage not available.
So I got some regrets I know of. I think one missed opportunity that I can really think of, but the regrets were stuff like I had opportunity to buy Bitcoin at $50. I didn't really know what it was, didn't care.
Sure.
And then not continuing baseball when I was a kid. I was so good as a pitcher, and I wonder every day what would have happened if I had stuck with it. But the one missed opportunity that really stands out is I played in a band with some of my best friends in high school and then early like college age years. And we had a friend of ours that we had known forever that was the manager of one of the top Christian metal bands at the time.
So you had like 3 acts. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Yep. They were playing mainstream shows with like big name bands. And one of the tours that they were supposed to go on was a tour with a band called Pantera.
Oh yeah.
If you know heavy metal anyway, you'll know who Pantera is. But that for us, basically the opportunity was that we were going to open on the West Coast leg of that tour.
Oh wow.
And it would have kicked us off. And
fun side note, that's my favorite superhero, the Black Pantera.
Wow. I think Pantera was a car. It was a car, wasn't it? In there.
There was a car called a Pantera.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Christian band that we knew was the Crucified, and they, in the midst of the discussions, broke up.
Wow.
Oh,
Isn't that Mike's tattoo on his arm?
Yeah, he has a crucified tattoo on his arm. Yeah. And so them breaking up pretty much kiboshed that whole opportunity, because it was contingent on us basically being with them and going with their management. And
Right.
once they broke up, their manager was like, "I'm done."
Wow.
So
wow.
Wow.
So yeah, but it was a good thing, I think, because we were all kind of in not great headspace at the time. So we all come, we talk about it now, we look at it as a blessing now, but we didn't at the time. So.
I guess I didn't think about this because I started later, but when I was younger in my 20s, I thought about doing stand-up comedy, and I kind of chickened out. And then I circled back in my 40s and did it again. And maybe if I started in my 20s, maybe. Yeah. It was a lot harder road because there wasn't as much exposure, but it was also less competition because that's kind of the boom was when I was in my 20s and 30s of comedy. I think somebody said at one time there would have been like a couple hundred comics or something like that, maybe even 100 or something like that. Maybe it was 100 comics for like 200 clubs or something crazy.
Yeah.
So you could work all the time if you were just any good at all.
Yeah.
And then
working every night.
But now there's thousands of comics and there's still just hundreds of clubs. So it's it's hard to know. But it also could have ruined me. I don't know. It's a tough life, and you're around a lot of. Even the little I did, I knew early on I didn't want to be around the club scene. I mean, that's just it's drugs, it's depression, it's late nights in weird cities, it's eating terrible, it's the whole thing, you know. So it's not as fun as it sounds. Corporate and some of that is much more, I think, for me. And the church world wasn't even ready for it yet. So there was some Christian comics, but they were doing conferences and
only
things.
A handful.
Yeah, and they weren't getting a lot of like I would say straight up church gigs. They were maybe in the South because they've always had a lot there, but
so in that time you pretty much just had like guys like Mike Warnke.
Mike Warnke was really early, and then there's a Mike Lowry, I think, and there's some other guys that I know. When I went to the Christian comedy conference, there would be some of those old time guys, and they're not that old, but they were older. That started Isaac Air Freight, some of those guys, but a lot of them again were doing big shows and arenas, if they got that big. And then there was a few other guys I know, like Naz has done it for a long time. There's some of the comics I know have been doing it for a while, but. But essentially, I started 20 years late, you know. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't regret it, but I suppose that might have led to something.
Sure.
Who knows?
Sure. Who knows? Well, we've all got those things. I want to know what our listeners think, too.
Yeah. Give us your greatest missed opportunities, not regrets.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be regrets. You know, it could be, I mean, there could be some regret in there, too, but like you said, and I didn't even think about that. Like, I had the same situation with baseball. You know, I was good at a pitcher, and that's all I did during baseball, and I didn't follow through with that as a kid. You know, I just kind of grew out of it and moved, and then came down here, and so that was the end of that. And the same thing like with John. You know, I wanted to do stand-up comedy when I was younger and never had the nerve to do it. You know, and maybe it had to do with a lot of things like he said. You know, late nights and all this other kind of stuff. Like, oh, when am I going to do that? And, you know, how, you know, just a lack of you know, just an unknown, I guess, you know. But that's always been kind of an issue with me, you know, is just been like, well, I don't know. And, you know, so.
Okay. Yeah. It's, I mean, obviously everybody's got missed opportunities, right? And some of them were curiosity. It'd be nice to see what it would have been. Some of them, I'm not so curious, you know. So I just think it comes down to being content with where you're at now in life, and then just being the best you can be moving forward, you know. It's all we can do. And there's still opportunities coming, so you keep your eye out, you know, for something. But a lot of it for me is figuring out what my calling is, what I feel that my God-given capacity is and where he wants me to be, and then just leaning into that. There's a lot of things I could be, but there's really only one thing that God wants me to be. So I just have to lean into that, whatever that is. So
Ray's still fumbling.
Yeah. So
let it go.
So yeah, I put Jared, like, put in the chats and the feeds, like maybe missed opportunities you had, or You could put some regrets, like you said. That could get dark real quick, though. There's some, if we talk about regrets, that's a different show. But I think the missed opportunity, that's a great question, Scott. I love it. Thank you.
Me too.
Thanks for that, man. And thanks for everybody for listening. And we will see you again next week. As always, Lord willing, the creek don't rise. We'll be back for another episode of the Comedy Food Truck Podcast. Everybody say bye.
See you guys.
Okay, bye.
See ya.